questions.
Coach, against Duke, you said that the freshmen had to come in and they had to do a better job on one of their 8 games through the season. And, I mean, what's your reaction tonight? 3 of them had their best games ever.
Yeah. Well, you know, we tried to experiment and see if we could play Nick more minutes, and that didn't really go as good as you think. But I would expect from you guys, no insult intended, that, you know, he played one end of the court with a lot of passion and a lot of emotion, and didn't play the other end of the court very well. And as soon as he got tired, you know, that was a problem. But at least Nick competed. I thought Cassius had his best game. I thought he ran the team better, he did some things better, guarded a little better. But there was no other freshman that played very well. The mistakes we made at the end, we didn't play hard enough, and we didn't play smart enough. And the fouls we created, Josh, one of my smartest kids. So I was really disappointed with our wings. I didn't think one of them played very well at all. And, you know, we're getting hurt on the boards because we just aren't big enough. That was a decent rebound. That team is better than their record. And yet, I was worried about 2 things today. I was worried about, whether we'd come back and just play the game after all those big games in a row. You know, now we're just going to take the night off and win a game. That was one worry I had. The worry came through. The other worry was, you know, how do we adjust now without, Miles, and trying to work some guys in and start some guys and do some different things. And that didn't go too good. But our energy level was not very good. And I thought, don't be fooled by scoring. Our freshmen are getting better. But when guys go around, our seniors at the end, when it's winning time, or we're fouling guys for 3-point shots, or fouling guys, going around them when they're not even shooting, not even making a move to the basket, we did not play very smart. So Cassius was pretty good. Nick played okay on one end.
Coach, a little bit more on Nick. You say the one end, he had a double-double tonight. Of the 4 freshmen coming in, he might have had the least amount of fanfare, but his assimilation has been good. Where's the room for growth for him, and how far has he come?
Well, his conditioning is so poor, It's getting better, though. He's lost, as we know, 30 pounds, and he's having to adjust to that. But, I wasn't pleased with Nick on the other end. But take that with a grain of salt, because Nick competed. When he got tired, he melts down. And that's the reason we were only playing him 16, 17 minutes a game. So, but to his credit, he at least competed. I didn't think some of the other guys did. When he got real tired at the end, he couldn't guard anybody in the post, and that was the only negative. But what I love about Nick right now is he went from maybe hard to coach to fun to coach. And I really do appreciate that about Nick. He's been great in that respect. He's so much more receptive. He understands. He just has trouble staying focused when he gets tired, which a lot of people do.
Comment, a couple things real quick. You talk about Nick's conditioning. Is that something tough to do to get better at during the season? And then overall, I think you guys had a few good practices. How, I guess, disappointing / surprise were tonight?
I mean, I don't want to insult you guys, but I mean, you gotta think. We had 2 practices, full practices, but I mean, you're not changing everything from 3 weeks. This is part of step 1, and we had them 2 practices losing our star. So, it's been a little bit of a grind on that. But tomorrow we're practicing twice, so everybody knows. Maybe 3 times. And we're going to now take all the fatigue and all that, and we're throwing it out the door, and we're going to start competing a little bit better. But 2 practices is not going to change, and I didn't mean that insultingly, but are you kidding me?
But I'm not talking about the execution. You talk about guys not competing and not having effort there. Yeah. I'm talking about that, not specifically taking shots.
I don't know. It might be because they're still tired, but if they are, so be it. I mean, sooner or later, you got to look in the mirror. It gets personal. You know, you're one-on-one with a guy late in the game, and you're a senior. You can't give up a layup. It gets personal, you know. And so we're going to have to coach that a little bit. Sorry.
Tom, I'd like to, ask you about Nick on the offensive end a little bit. When you can see that coming. You can see now tonight, I think 26 minutes that he had. Is he able finally now to see what he can be? And does that help him, you think, in the conditioning process?
Well, the only way you can get the conditioning better is you got to have the time to spend on conditioning, which he hasn't. And but Nick has been, the last month, more receptive, more learning. Nick is. Hey, I said it in here a week ago that right now Nick is my most improved player by a long shot, and he still is. He's got a ways to go. We got to take care of some other things now, but I think at least he understands it. Yeah, if that's the question, I think he has a better understanding. It's hard for a player that was of that weight for a long time, never had to push himself, and now to try to push himself. That's hard to do, and past fatigue, and that's kind of the next step in his progression. But I feel really comfortable that he's going to get there. I don't know if it's going to be fast enough for me and you, but he's going to get there.
How critical is this game for you to try and figure out how to mix and match without Miles in there? Because, that's something you obviously haven't had to do yet.
Yeah. There's just times when, it's difficult. We're going to have to really take a look at it, and we're going to have to look at the combinations we have in there, and we're going to have to improve. But, saying all this, we had 15 threes the first half, and I thought 13 of them. We had 2 at the shot clock. We're dead nuts look at the basket, and we didn't make them. You make a couple of those, and it changes. There's no secret other than Nick. It's not like we're throwing the ball inside to a lot of people. But some of those shots should have gone in, and they didn't. As I said, right now Harris and Langford, McQuaid and Alice, those shooters, are not playing as good on either end of the, and they're going to have to get better. We're going to have to get them better. Yeah.
10 turnovers today after you said on Thursday that was an emphasis for you guys. Was there any noticeable difference to you in execution? I guess what was the difference that you saw today?
Yeah, I did think we did a better job in 2 areas. We got to the free throw line. We made some, 73.4%. We only had 10 turnovers. That was good. We have 19 assists on 24 baskets. That was good. We 7 for 20 from the 3, and I swear to you, I think we had enough open looks early that it should have been 12 for 20, and we'd probably be feeling different. But so there were some positive things there. We had some block shots. There were some positive things, but the negative things, second chance points, still 17 to 10. And we're not doing a good enough job on that. Bench points, 56 to 0. Our starters had 4 points the first half, so there's probably going to be some rotating going on there. Fast break, we're consistently doing a better job. We did a great job at Duke, doing a better job today. When we get it out, we can go. Both Tom and Cassius are pushing it better. We're making some progress there. It's really the grit type things that I don't think we're doing as good a job on.
I was just going to say, it sounds like you're more irked about not competing than anything execution-wise, and yet you can practice 5 times a day. Can you coach competing?
Yeah, because you have to understand, some of it is from lack of what we've done in practice for a month. So, I got too many guys with the AU mentality right now. Okay, so I got beat. There's another. I'm telling you, it's getting to be a problem right now. I heard a coach from Ohio State women's team go off on it yesterday, and he's right. What are we teaching our kids? Are we teaching them how to compete? Are we teaching them how to get trophies to put on your bedpost? Last place trophies, 5th place trophies, 3rd place trophies, or 1st place trophies. None of them mean anything. They're all the same. That's what we're dealing with right now. So you know, we got to do a better job as coaches to get that out of them. And we have to try to understand, is it practice time, is it a little fatigue, or is it, you know, what we're doing? I think we've got, I mean, I look at a Josh Langford or Aaron Harris, and those guys are competitors, but they didn't do that as well today.
Tom, what did you notice in the difference and Miles Bridges not being around in terms of interior defense? Was there more of an impact with his on-ball defense or in terms of what he offers in comes out?
Well, you know, he's such a good shot blocker. He knows where to be off the ball. I mean, you could argue that he's one of the best players in this conference or one of the top 10 or 15 players in the country. So you lose a lot when you're losing them. But we've got to figure out a way to win some of these games. There was no reason why we kind of came out sluggish today. And I told our guys, you got to respect the game as much as the opponent sometimes. You got to respect yourself. And so we're just going to have to play better. We're just going to have to keep working at it, playing better, keep grinding. It's going to be a grinding team right now for a couple of weeks until we get figure out how to play without them for a while, number one, and figure out how to play a lot harder, number two.
Cassius obviously had a fairly good game distributing the ball, and it seemed like you guys were, the break and the transition game was moving a little bit better. What was he doing offensively? And I guess defensively, I saw you subbing him out with Tom.
Well, at the end we were just going with our best defenders, but I should have left Cassius in there and put Tom in for a couple of those wing guys that weren't guarding anybody. But we were worried about size, we were worried about rebounding. You know, we just got so many things to worry about at times. Cassius wasn't, I mean, he made some steps today. You know, him and I spent some time yesterday, and I think he's starting to get it, starting to understand it. He made some steps, even defensively he made some steps. But I thought he was the other guy that really competed. He was trying to get guys going and things. But we got a long way to go.
We've got two more, Ryan and Rico.
Coach, I want to follow up on the AAU mentality you talked about, and Nick now being more receptive to coaching and that sort of thing. And
I just think that we're raised to get a trophy for everything, and we're raised to always have another game, and that's not a good mentality. As they say, you should play each game like it's your last. Well, that's not what they've done. So it's hard. It's hard. I am seeing that, and I think a lot of other coaches are seeing that, and I don't think it's necessarily good for the players.
Is it harder for you to coach? Do you need to meet them halfway? Do they need to come all the way to you? I mean, how do you handle that?
Meet them halfway in what respect?
I just mean in terms of their approach to the game, their focus, all these things that you're talking about, and what they're used to, and when they come here, how much of that needs to change, how drastic that is for them, and if it's just because they're younger and it's a new generation, do you have to feel a need to adapt at all yourself?
Well, if you meant here, Michigan State, I'd answer it one way. If you meant here, college basketball, I'd answer it another way, because it sounds to me like the here means that, oh, I'm so tough on them, and I'm so, you know, and that's the way you got to play here. Another great comment, I just love football season, another great comment by a new guy at Texas. He said, did you ever see a coach standing on a podium in any championship event, period, forget and say, we out-finessed them? Champions aren't made by finesse. Champions are made by grit. So there's no halfway. There's no meeting somebody. There's understanding things and dealing with that, but there is no, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you're any good at your job, you got grit. Some of you guys bug the hell out of me. And you know what? I respect that, because you're trying to be the best at your job. So there's no halfway. And, you know, again, I don't mean to insult some of you, but I take that offensive because that's the MO on me. Well, if it is, I'm proud of it. I'm damn proud of it. Because that's the way you have to be successful. Now, if you don't want to be great and you just want to get your little trophy and go home, then you can do it the other way. But if you want to be great, great. You got to figure out that every possession, every inch in football, all those things matter. And there's no debate. There's a debate on how to get there maybe, but there is no debate on what needs to happen. None. It doesn't matter what sport. It doesn't matter what you do. I'd even say to you guys, I'd like to see the best in your business. And I'll bet you they're not guys that sit back on their little computer and call up and say, hey, Coach, how's you doing, man? You having a nice day? Yeah, great day. How you doing? Great. Okay, I'll write a little article and call it a day. Somebody's going to be controversial. Someone's going to, because that's what it takes. You gotta be able to handle those things. And so I don't like when people say up here, let's say college basketball, college football, pro basketball, pro football. Let's say in life, you got to be able to reach down, suck it up, and do the things that other people won't do. And that's why I think coaches are getting tired of some of the things that are happening. And is that happening to this team? A little bit. Thank God 2 of those freshmen rose up today. But there's some of those other guys that didn't rise up today. So we're just going to keep chopping. And we're going to keep working and grinding. And if I give in, figure that we'll be mediocre. That's the best way I can put it.
Tom, in the past, you've had players who've had to sit out and sat next to you on the bench. It was Miles Bridges' turn to do it tonight. Did you get a chance to notice, or did you talk to him? Did he happen to see the game differently than sitting next to you?
Good question. Yes. In fact, when I left, he was still in the locker room. I told him this is his chance to be a leader. This is his chance because you never see it the same from the inside out as you do from the outside in. And when you're sitting there, dying to be in there, watching some guys not maybe do what they need to do. Yeah, he was involved in some timeouts. Him and I talked on a bench. As I said, we're going to find a silver lining in this cloud of his. He'll become a better player watching. He really will. It's some of the things you got to learn on how you got to compete, and it's hard, guys. It's hard. We put him through the ringer. They've gotten their bell rung a little bit. They're not the favorites on Twitter anymore. They're not everybody's heroes right now. So they got to rebuild. They got to get it back, and so do I. And you know what? I'm going to enjoy the process of getting it back. I hope they will. I got time for another question. I don't mean to be unfair to you on some of the questions you ask. I just, you watch the same game. What did you think, Matt? What would your assessment be?
That's why I was trying.
No, I'm asking. I'm not. This is not a condemning.
I'm with you. I didn't see that effort from a lot of guys.
So you don't even need to ask me. It's that easy. Larry, you're the. What do you? I know you wanted us pressing, but other than that, Larry, what did you think?
I thought Nick Ward's plus minus was not very good. If you had that in the hockey term, but he looked great on offense and gave up as many points probably.
Damn. I make a lot more money than you, and you could do my job. That's sad. Yes?
Yeah, I was going to say, the tough part is trying to figure out how to push the button, knowing the limitations that you have right now, too.
Yeah, that is the tough part. That's why I'm going to earn it. That's why I'm going to earn mine, because that is the tough part. I got to push a lot of buttons right now. Tomorrow is going to be a couple of practices, a couple of film sessions, and a bunch of meetings, because I got to figure out which buttons to push. Believe it or not, some of that's fun. Like I spent 2 hours with Cassius in a parking lot yesterday. It was awesome. It was the most fun I had in 6 months. Just me and him, and just talking in a parking lot. All these workers coming by, and it was fun. So I'm going to have some fun tomorrow too. Anybody else?
Talking about pushing buttons. What buttons do you push in order to get some of your players to not pass up open shots and easy open
That would go against what Ryan says a little bit, because Tom Izzo era, he handcuffs his players. He doesn't want them to shoot. He wants to run an offense. I just soon never run one play. I just soon pivot, pass, and tear, whatever. And there's been more than a couple games we're passing up shots. And, you know, I don't know if it's confidence. I don't know if it's, I don't know what it is. But yeah, guys are getting yanked for not taking shots right now. They're open. They're not taking them. You know, McQuaid, Aaron wants to put the ball on the floor all the time. And, you know, but the ball's coming from different people. And it's coming from different places. And people can guard us differently with certain people in the game. So this is all going to be an adjustment for a while, guys. And some of it is nobody's fault. And the parts that are my fault, I'm going to take ownership of. And the parts that are the players' fault, I'm hoping I'm going to coach them well enough that they take ownership in their stuff. And if we both do that, we're going to grow. Listen, we grew a ton from Arizona till today. A ton. I know it probably didn't look like it to you guys, but we grew a ton. No moral victories, no this, no that. I just said in the things we did. And if you went down on my board, you'd see 3 key things today. Limit our unforced turnovers. Attack the defensive boards so we don't give up so many second chance points, and stop the baseline out of bounds plays, which has been a problem. We've given up more this year than we did all last year after 8 games. They got 1 or 2 on us there, but we did a better job on the turnovers, and we didn't do a good job on the boards. But there were times the only guy in there was Nick. So we chopped off another one. We got better in another area. And hopefully Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever we play again, we're going to get better in another area. And we're going to get it fixed. Now, if you think I'm depressed, I'm not. I'm ticked off. It's a big difference. I'm not depressed. We're going to get it fixed. But there's going to be a little tough sledding to get it fixed when you got to fix things that, to me, you shouldn't have to fix how hard people work. What I got to fix is it because of the practice time we didn't have? Is it because of fatigue? Is it because of the way we're coaching? You know, not hard enough? Not hard enough? Not too hard? Not hard enough? You know, I got to look in the mirror too. I mean, how many have been to my practices last, you know, raise your hand. It's like we're in kindergarten. Now raise your hand. Yeah, okay. We haven't played the war game one time. We played it 1 time in a month. That is about as religious as me breathing. I haven't done it. So, you know, I got my reasons, and I think they're bona fide, but I've got to do a better job. I got to, you know, it's time to throw caution to the wind a little bit here, more and more, and just say, you know what, we got to do what we do, and that's the way it is.
So that's what you mean when you say you can coach that, you compete.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is part of the environment we're in, where people don't. Winning isn't quite as important as it used to be in society. I mean, you guys, come on, you all got kids, or half of you got kids. You all listen to everybody talking about in the junior high schools. You know, I mean, the reason it's hard to do sports in the elementary schools, if you got 500 kids playing, you know what the cost is to buy 500 trophies? It's a lot. It's a lot, man. Now, those poor kids, they'd be better off not getting a trophy and having more competition. But that's kind of the way we got it. So it's not their fault. It doesn't work that way in college. And I don't know about anybody in this room. I don't think it works that way in your jobs either. You know, I don't think you get a trophy if you do a bad job, do you? Nope. Anybody get a raise in here for doing a bad job? If you do, tell me. You know, that don't happen. So I feel bad for those kids. I'm gonna change it.
Those guys need this without Miles there to kind of maybe show them, hey, we can't rely on him. We have to be able to do this ourselves in that respect.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can only take so many guys away too. You know, I mean, it's kind of like one of the refs said something to me, and he said, well, you're missing, you know, Miles, but kind of, yeah, we already forgot about the other 2 guys, you know, and that's what happens, and that's what's got to happen. But, you know, we ran out of bodies today with fatigue and with, size that they have, and we ran out of some bodies. So we got to get some guys better, and we will. And, we're just, we'll get better. We'll get better. If you look at it, we made some progress even today in the negative. But we made a lot of progress, guys, from Arizona till today. And we're going to keep making progress. We'll get them. We'll compete better on Tuesday, if you ask me. All right? Thanks.